Welcome back, everyone, to the APP Tour Punta Gorda Open presented by Head Pickleball. Lauren McLaughlin and Dominic Catalano on this beautiful journey of pickleball with you today here at Pickleplex.
You make it sound so fun. This beautiful journey.
It is.
I love it.
So we have...
join us on our journey.
Yes, our pickleball journey. It'll be a good time. We'll be your guides. So we have a team that I think is no stranger to anyone, Zane Navratil and Althoff Merchant on the near end, taking on Austin Gridley and Joey Farias on the far end.
So Navratil and Merchant coming off of a second round victory over Eric Forsyth and Andre Mick, 3 and 6. Gridley and Farias, we saw here before we went live, they went 3 against, who'd they play? Keenum.
Christian Keenum and Vindkassen.
Yes, and that went 3. Gridley. Oh, just long there from Merchant, but Gridley and Farias were down 5-10 in game 3 and came back and won 12-10.
1-0-2. Very exciting. See if they can keep that momentum rolling here in this match. Again, it's a very sunny, partly cloudy day here in Punta Gorda, Florida. It's going to be in the mid-80s again. Very toasty day. So our players definitely are going to need to stay hydrated, get in the shade when they can.
You see Gridley's got that towel wrapped around his neck.
Absolutely. I'm
cool
sure he dipped that in some ice water ahead of time. High formation Merchant going on the attack.
Good hands there from Gridley.
Yeah, Navratil doing a great job, and Merchant getting back into that rally.
0-2-2.
They are still looking to get on the board here in game 1. Ooh, beautiful angle there from Farias as he's able to reach into that kitchen as far as he can.
2-0-1. Second serve. 2-0-2.
Again.
No, it's just good pressure by Navratil, keeping Gridley back right there, not allowing him to come in, forcing the mistake.
I was going to say, you can notice Gridley is using that one-handed spin serve, which is allowed here on the APP Tour, as we are sanctioned by USA Pickleball. We'll follow all of their rules, and that is the paddle hand spin serve, but the non-paddle hand still legal.
Nice counter from Gridley as he took up some space in the middle right there after the speed up from his partner Farias. Gridley able to put that forehand winner back down the middle.
2-0-1. Nice shot.
And that's what Joey Farias does very well, is he hides that to the last second right there. Let that ball travel, and last second use those wrists.
that sideline from Navratil behind Farias after a little bit of a hands battle.
3-0-2. Come on.
Nice, and that's a good serve there from Gridley. That had a lot of kick to it.
Oh, yeah.
Almost got away from Merchant.
He not only puts that spin on it, but he also lofts it really high sometimes. Nice get there from Merchant. Bit of an awkward spot. Seen him get fired up here a little bit. Seen a couple of those sort of miscommunication up the middle shots that Navratil and Merchant have missed. Usually they're both pretty good about covering that middle. They've obviously played together a lot. Very comfortable with each other's games and style.
Off the tape there from Farias. Nothing Navratil can do. It's the worst thing that can happen to you. A ball goes off that tape like that.
0-4-2.
Nice lead. And that's tough too because that ball's right there in his wheelhouse.
Watching Merchant kind of dink straight on with Gridley earlier in that rally, I was thinking he's got to be careful with that because Gridley loves that Ernie. He's definitely looking for it, so got to be aware that he has got that in his bag of tricks.
Good talk from Merchant right there. As Navratil went almost like a reverse forehand to try and hit that put away on the last one.
2-4-2. Foot fault, right foot, side out.
Oh, and that's almost adding insult to injury as Zane thinks he gets it
4-2-1.
into the net, and then he also gets called for a foot fault.
I mean, hey, if you're going to get called for a foot fault, make sure it's not on a winner.
Right.
Second serve.
And it was basically the same shot right there, and made sure he was out, but puts that one away.
4-2-2.
That's the one you want to be out on when you put away.
Side out. Two, 4-1.
Merchant's normally so great at that. That's kind of his bread and butter. He loves that shake and bake. Loves to come in. He's got he's a lefty, so that's his forehand in the middle. He's left a couple of those in the net today. And the towel's gone.
It'd be interesting if Navratil and Merchant don't win this point.
Side out.
They don't, and Navratil is questioning. So yeah, that was what my question was going to be, was Navratil and Merchant going to question that?
With a possible hindrance. Like Bob Gardner, our referee, says no.
Good hands from Farias as that ball clips the tape, and he's able to stay on top of that right there.
It's like a double take shot.
Second serve.
We're definitely seeing sort of subdued Navratil and Merchant here. You always know how they're feeling based on how loud they are or are not.
All right, so how do you eliminate the emotional edge of Navratil and Merchant? You get them in the long, dragged-out points. You don't allow them to speed up in good spots, right? Or if they do speed up, you end it quickly. You don't allow them to get that momentum, and that's exactly what Farias and Gridley are doing right now. They're winning those hands battles. They're not allowing them to speed up. They're not allowing Merchant to go off on anything right now, and that's their bread and butter. Oh, what a setup from Gridley. He pulled Merchant completely to the sideline on this inside out.
Merchant doesn't even really move his feet at all, makes him reach. Instead, kind of sets up that next shot for Farias to put it away. Oh, another up the middle floater.
Yeah, again, that started too by Farias clipping the tape. He's clipped the tape probably 4 or 5 times in this first game.
6-2-1.
Wow, there it is again.
Yeah, I think that was a frustration shot right there from Navratil, but ends up working. Farias again off the tape.
Gives him a lot of time to recover, though, luckily.
Side out.
Austin Gridley, one of the new Pro XR pros, but still using his Pro Kenix paddle. Pro XR is still in the process of getting their brand new paddles approved. I've seen their samples, very nice paddles, much better than ones that they had come out initially. They regrouped and got some really nice paddles coming out. Nice job by Gridley right there in the 1-2 combo.
Not only have signed Gridley, but also Brandon Insigpong and Lee Whitwell have joined the Pro XR Pickleball team.
Taylor. Wow, nice spot there from Gridley, just exposing that middle. Watch him hold this on his paddle too, really long, almost makes Navratil think he's gonna go sideline, and he flips middle.
Come on, let's go!
I want to say Navratil and Merchant have been burnt 4 times up the middle.
Minimum.
And it's just game 1. I'm really surprised after the first couple times that they didn't really kind of fortify the middle area, knowing that they have been burned there.
And it's odd too, because what is it? Lefty righty, it's both of their
Exactly.
forehands.
Normally we see them colliding with each other to cover the middle.
Finally, Gridley makes a mistake. He hadn't made many of those.
2-7-1.
A lot of work to do here, though, for Merchant and Navratil. But see, if anyone can get streaky, Lauren, we know that these two can.
Absolutely.
And that's how they're going to do it right there, is by getting fired up.
That was definitely a little more characteristic of the partnership we're usually used to seeing from them. Ooh, oh, wow. Stays out of the kitchen on that, but doesn't come out on top, but good effort earlier.
3-7-2.
Yeah, you're right. They need to get some points here. Capitalize on their serve. Farias and Gridley have switched sides.
Side out.
Yeah, we haven't seen that setup because they really haven't had an odd number. So they're not stacking. They're just playing straight up, but most of the time they had been set up in an even score setting. Oh, that's just a great shot from Farias from deep on a tough ball.
Eight, 3-1.
He waited so long. I thought for sure he had at least the angle.
Looked like it was there. Almost looked like he pulled it too much back and clips the outside of that post.
Side out.
Joey stays nice and low for the first two on that last one. Almost kind of came up as he's hitting that. He's got to stay down through that.
Nice. Go.
Slap forehand right there from Farias to put away.
Three, 8-2.
There's the middle coverage.
Nice shot.
Wow, I mean, it's the opposite kind of, it's almost like a reverse psychology thing right now, where typically when you have a righty-lefty and both their forehands are in the middle, you're going to want to work sideline to sideline to go to their backhands. Farias and Gridley right now are working middle. They're seeing something that's working for them, and let's put them up here by 5. See, they're even dinking to the middle. What a cover from Farias. I mean, a good cover from Merchant, too, on the ATP here from Gridley. But Farias, look at where Farias is.
Yeah,
and he filled in Gridley's spot.
Second serve. 9-3-2.
Just such good hands from Austin Gridley.
He can do no wrong right now. He's just winning all of these hands battles. He's catching them up the middle.
Side out.
All right, so Navratil and Merchant hold
Timeout serving team. 3-10-1.
a game point, and they're going to call a timeout as they get served back. A little offensive timeout here from Navratil and Merchant. And again, if anything, get some momentum going into that, second game. Gain some points here. Get some, positive.
As you mentioned, I think that's such a great lesson when you mentioned, Farias and Gridley are seeing something that maybe is out of the norm, even though there's the two forehands in the middle, and normally you'd see working side to side. That doesn't mean that's what you have to do. If you have sensed a weakness that you can exploit, or a crack in the armor, if you will, absolutely change it up. Do maybe the opposite of what you're, quote, supposed to do, given the situation. And you got to play with what you're working with.
Yep.
And right now, that is a weakness in the middle for Merchant and Navratil. You see them getting a little bit better there. They covered a couple good shots up the middle
Time in
the previous few rallies, but again, they haven't really been able to get any momentum going.
1 minute.
So you're seeing a back-to-back timeout here. Well, actually, it was offensive timeout from Navratil and Merchant. And then as soon as Mike Baumgartner called time in, Farias burns a timeout that they had because Gridley was...
I think he jumped in the lake.
He may have. He's over swimming.
There's alligators
He's swimming
in
with the gator over here back here. So he wasn't back on court. So Farias just calmly calls a timeout, says no
Yeah,
big
they
deal, we got
They
it.
got
So
to use, might as well.
update on the bottom half of this draw. We have Wyatt Stone and Hayden Patriquin have moved on to the quarterfinals as they take down Brendan Long and Rafa Hewitt. 4-11, 11-9, 11-7.
seconds.
Oh,
And
right.
also,
One timeout remaining.
Travis
Serving team, you have one
Rettenmeyer
remaining.
and Ryler DeHart take down Adam Stone and DJ Young. 11-5,
Wow.
3-11, 11-9.
Time in.
That
3,
is
10,
an
1.
interesting quarterfinal that I would love to see be
Absolutely.
played right here with 4
Fingers
players that we don't
crossed.
get to see. That would be awesome, Lauren.
If we knew somebody, maybe we could put in a good word somewhere.
I don't know, maybe we do. Somebody listening? Who's listening?
3, 10, 2.
Navratil goes around the back. Absolutely incredible. See if we get this here.
4, 10, 2.
No, it was unfortunate we didn't get that.
Side out. Come on. 10, 4, 1.
All right, another game point here in game 1 of this quarterfinal.
Second serve. Ten, 4, 2.
That's a good pull there from Farias to end that game 11-4.
All right, so Navratil and Merchant have some discussions to be had here as they are going into game 2, what they need to fix or work on to try and come out on top, force that game 3. We'll be back right after this with game number 2 of this quarterfinal matchup, right after this. Back to championship court here at the APP Tour Punta Gorda Open, presented by Head Pickleball. Lauren McLaughlin and Dominic Catalano guiding you through this quarterfinal matchup here in our pro men's doubles division. Game number 2 about to be underway. Austin Gridley and Joy Farias on the near end take game 1 11-4 over Zane Navratil in Althoff Merchant, who will be on the far end here for game number 2.
Game 2, time in. 0-0-2.
All right, well, big.
He was about
He's
to,
making a lap. He's just making a lap.
he wanted to come over and give Farias a high five, but Joey had his back turned. Joey's smiling at him. But see now, as funny as that is, and the crowd's laughing and we're all laughing, that's the last thing that Gridley and Farias want is Althoff playing loose, because he loosens up Zane, and
Yep.
that's when they go, right?
They
And
can start to feel it. They can start to flow, start to vibe.
as much as it's gamesmanship and fun and for the crowd, when they're doing that, that's when they're playing well.
Yep.
Farias just continuing to get butt cords.
Again, Navratil and Merchant desperately need that vibe to start rolling here because they didn't have it in game 1. They just were off. They didn't really get anything to work, couldn't get it in a rhythm.
That's big forehand set up from the Ernie by Gridley.
2-0-2.
magnet in that ball and one in the net.
Side out.
A little too much reach right there from Navratil. Needs to slide his feet, let that ball bounce. You all just see that footwork from Farias?
0-2-1.
That was impressive. Oh, nice counter from Navratil.
Second serve.
See that? That's that squatted position he gets in on the attack. Turns into an overhead.
0-2-2.
What a get from Farias. I thought that was, I thought he was like catching it and then it ended
Side
up
out.
sailing back over.
Two zero one.
A little net love finally to the side of Navratil and Merchant.
Ball on court. Watch his feet.
It's up 3-0 here in a must-win game
3-0-1.
2.
That's a great return there from Gridley. He goes right down the sideline.
Three zero two.
Oh, good pickups from Merchant.
Side out.
Finally just got a little too high though. Couldn't handle the put away.
0-3-1. Second serve.
Here. Yeah.
0-3-2. Short serve. Side out.
I was gonna say that's a very, it was
That's close.
I was like, Merchant's not gonna get there. But that actually
Timeout,
was a
receiving
short
team,
serve
3-0-1, 1
called
minute.
by Mike Baumgartner, and a timeout here called from Gridley and Farias. Gridley definitely was very frustrated after that call. Looks like he just needed to take a minute and collect his thoughts. Shake off that frustration a little bit.
Yeah, good timeout so they can just stop that kind of almost that bad mojo there from that service game as the side out happens right now. Down 3-0 early in game 2 after they take game 1. So a good timeout here. It's gonna slow things down. But again, the last thing they want to do is have Merchant and Navratil feel that momentum, feel that
15
momentum
seconds.
shift.
Receiving team, you have one timeout
I feel
remaining.
like you can usually tell when a team has taken a timeout as a result of just needing to break the momentum, because a lot of times you don't see them talk. They're getting a drink, toweling off. There's nothing really to say. They know
Time in,
the
3-0-1.
situation. It's not like we need to change all the strategy, let's talk, which you see sometimes between teams.
Second
That
serve.
Merchant gets caught coming up still in the middle of that. He needs to just stop moving his feet. Play that ball from the transition area. He
3-0-2.
tries to hit that on the run.
We got a full flex from Altoff Merchant.
Full
After
on,
that.
got all the way up to the net.
Come on, Dave.
Big gets there for
4-0-2.
Navratil and Merchant, puts him up 4-0 now.
figure 8 dinking drill right now.
Left foot, football.
Her left foot is just smart.
Side out.
Alt off
Is
Merchant.
it the shadow or the foot?
No, sir. Raise your
Called.
foot over the line.
He
On a
said,
foot fault.
Zane's laughing at him because Altoff asked Mike Baumgartner, our referee, was it my shadow or my foot?
0-4-1.
He said, no, it was your foot, Altoff.
I think he did hit it and kind of
Yeah,
backed
backed
up
up.
a little bit after, so that's why. Ooh, oh my goodness.
Oh, Farias.
That was disgusting.
Joey coming in hot right there.
Wow.
That gets them on the board.
1-4-1. Second serve.
So watching Merchant, what he does, he puts almost a little topspin on that ball, makes that ball just a little more difficult to get back up and over and control it. He's putting a little spin on it. Right there, that little wrist flick. And then the backhand, he cuts it. Nice reset from Farias.
Oh, and a good reset from Gridley. That pops it up just a little too much, and Navratil is able to take advantage.
Left once.
Big two-handed backhand there.
Come on.
4-1-1.
Farias had just an easy.
So yeah, so what happened was Altoff kept it just low enough that Farias couldn't follow through, right? So he had to stop his swing, because if he follows through, he hits the net. And so it was just low enough that he couldn't really get too much on it. Nice dig from Navratil on the short hop.
That net cord provides the perfect pop up there for Navratil, again with that two-handed backhand to put it away.
6-1-1.
So Gridley and Farias stacking now, putting Gridley on the left. I think they like that matchup in front of Merchant. Yeah, they do. They like that angle. They like that position. They found that out this match. Switch again here.
6-1-2.
Oh, it was long.
Side out.
Just long right there, yeah.
Like that.
Merchant felt good about it, though, that's for sure.
He tried to sell it.
1-6-1.
See if Farias and Gridley get back in here down 1-6.
Second serve.
Attention all players and spectators, welcome to the
162.
2022 APP Punta Gorda Open presented by Head Pickleball. This is the
Side out.
second this year on the tour and is also our second championships here at Pickleball. This year's tournament is proudly associated with the Pickleball Club, who is returning as our title sponsor. The staff also wishes to thank all the volunteers.
6-1-1.
Navratil and Merchant still able to stay out in front here.
And how about a big shout out to our chief and co-host, Eden Russo and Mr. Terry Wise.
Point.
Farias gets in a really good position. Just can't dig that out.
All players are hoping to
7-1-1.
qualify for the APP Masters in Boca Raton, Florida in January 2023. We are very thankful and appreciative of our tour sponsors, which includes the Pickleball Club, our title sponsor, Head Pickleball, the official presenting sponsor for the entire tour, and
Great read by Navratil.
Yep, nice recognition.
Oh, what a shot from Farias. Little two-hand backhand flick in the middle. He has Merchant almost leaning to the sideline here. Navratil's not.
A little chunk of it, but
7-1-2. Side out.
Navratil tries to reset that back into the kitchen.
1-7-1.
Side out instead.
Good spin serve there from Gridley. He's been working on that with Porter Barr. Really gave him a free lesson in it.
Second serve.
Both game 1 and game 2
2-7-2.
have been not slow overall, just that the scoreboard is kind of slowly going up for either of these teams.
Point.
Just long again. Merchant, I mean, he's not very long on those last two that he's
Just
missed, a couple inches deep.
3-7-2. Foot fault, left foot. Side out.
All tough. He's now saying, yep, see? Oh, yep, absolutely caught
Yep,
that toe
yeah.
as he shuffled over after hitting that. Mike Baumgartner
7-3-1.
on it.
Yeah, it was right after he hit it, he shuffled through, so it wasn't established.
Point. Eight, 3-1.
And again, Merchant and Navratil just creeping their way point by point here.
Navratil trying to poach that right there. He's reading Farias, speeding that up.
8-3-2. Side out.
Every once in a while, you get into a little trouble when you try and drastically change the angle of a dink. Comes at you straight on, and then Navratil goes for that big cross-court slice.
That's a nice ATP, yep. Navratil just holds that nicely.
3-8-2.
Nice Ernie there from Gridley. So Navratil and Merchant thought that Gridley was in.
That's the one you don't call Mike.
Navratil not happy about it, but Baumgartner saying it's on the far side. He really didn't see it. Can't make that call from where he's at. It is a tough call. It's 25 feet away from him. Nice ball in the middle there from Navratil. Good answer.
Yeah, Gridley really had to extend himself on that sideline. Pulls him out, opens up that middle just a little bit. Navratil can sneak that ball up there.
8-4-1.
just off the tape right there. What a grind right there from all 4 players. Merchant just clipping the tape. Farias not able to reset that.
Correct shot, right?
Yes, sir.
Now within 2 of
9-4-1.
forcing that Game 3 tiebreaker here in this quarterfinal matchup. Both these guys looking ahead to the semis.
Farias just so good at hiding what he wants to do with that ball. Uses his wrist really well. Waits till the last minute and almost insides out a lot of those dinks. Makes his opponents wait till that last second. Score from our outer courts. Travis Rettenmeyer, Ryler DeHart take down Hayden Petriquin and Wyatt Stone. 11-1, 9-11, 11-9.
Wow.
What a match. What a battle for them youngsters. But Rettenmeyer and DeHart moving on to face Yates and Barr. Imagine we may get that one next.
Very exciting matchup. Love to see these new names start popping up on the pro circuit. Again, off the net actually is advantageous for Navratil. Puts it up right into that sweet spot where you can put that away with a nice overhead.
5-9-2.
Merchant feeling like he had that one.
6-9-2.
Frustrated with that error. Wow. Gridley and Farias with some big defense here on this rally. Just forcing Navratil to hit one more ball.
Yep.
Hoping for an error. It didn't come though. Side out as a result.
9-6-1.
Navratil Merchant still trying to get to that game point here.
Great reset from Farias. Yeah! Oh, Navratil backhand around the post.
Right into that back corner. And that will get them their game point. Ooh, it doesn't get any more perfect than that.
10-6-1.
Tries for another behind the back. This one not as successful, and we're going to have a offensive timeout again from Navratil and Merchant as they're going to have a second look at this game point here. And again, this match has been a grind for Farias and Gridley in game 1, and now Navratil and Merchant here in game 2. It has been a slow and steady march up the scoreboard ladder. Neither of these teams has really run away with anything, put a big streak together. So I know Navratil and Merchant definitely taking this time out to just kind of collect. They want to get the job done right here on this serve.
As you guys can see
15
on
seconds.
screen right now.
Serving team,
New
one
York
timeout
City
remaining.
Open.
Receiving team, 1 timeout remaining.
Open for registration.
Absolutely, over
Scan your
1,000
screen.
people
Scan it now. Scan
are
it now.
already
Get your phone.
planning
Get
to
your
join
phone
us.
out. Scan it
Now,
now.
we know your phone's in your hand right now.
Time in.
It always is.
10-6-2.
It's attached, it's glued there. Just take a picture of that QR code. Go register. All right, can Navratil and Merchant close it out here?
Yeah.
And they can.
And a little mini flex
A little
from
mini
Merchant
flex,
right
but
there.
A quiet flex. Really nice get there from Navratil on the Ernie from Gridley, though. And game 3 is coming our way here in this epic matchup here in this quarterfinals of our men's pro doubles division. Don't go anywhere. Game 3 when we return. Welcome back, everyone. Althoff Merchant here.
He wants to
in the booth.
He's like asking for the headphones.
He is. He wants to get in here. He needs the attention. All right, taking a little look here as our teams are working their way. We mentioned we'll have that semifinal
15
match.
seconds.
Rittenmeyer and DeHart taking on Yates and Barr. That's going to be coming up next. Navratil and Merchant currently looking to face Frazier and Johnson in their semi, but Gridley and Farias, I think, are going to
Time in, 0-0-2.
be looking for the same. Game 3 underway. We'll see which team is able to move on.
Point.
Navratil and Merchant on the board first here. Our teams will switch ends at 6 here in this tiebreaker game 3. Got a lot of 3 gamers today, Dom.
Yeah, we have all over the board.
Oh, nice coverage from
he's
Merchant.
not even gonna say
Middle.
anything.
9 years old, I need some luck.
He's not even going to say anything other than he's 90 years old. He needs some luck.
I mean, to be fair, Gridley and Farias have had their fair share of some net cords, so it's only fair. Spread the love around a little bit.
All right, attention all players. If your brackets have not started yet, please do not hop on any courts to warm up. We assure you, you will get plenty of warm-up time, and it is warm enough out there. So court monitors, there's no...
Great hands from Gridley. Oh, and look at that.
That was a life-saving block from Gridley. His life flashed before his eyes right there. Absolutely. Fantastic job, and then 2 shots later gets the put away. Beautiful resets from Gridley and Farias.
Second serve. Zero, 2-2.
Stop hitting the net.
Side out.
Gridley upset with himself. Again, for a ball that should, for the most part, be an easier ball for him to put away.
Navratil has broken a shoelace here. He is attempting to MacGyver a situation here as he's kind of missing half of that shoelace.
Is he using his shoelace timeout?
All right, guys, here we go.
It broke. It broke. It actually broke.
Let's see if that holds.
2-0-1.
Attention all players, next championship court 1. Travis Rittenmeyer Line to the heart are playing Kyle Yates and Becca Barr. That'll be our next feature match on Championship Court 1.
Oh, what a shot from
Beautiful
Farias.
shot there.
And so
Nice
the
floater.
tough part about this is he's trying not to hit this hard, but he's trying to sell it. So what he does is he loosens up that grip, goes inside out, and that takes something off that ball.
Rick Wisk and Scott Crandall against Scott Moore and Dan Grinnell. Nice play.
Good speed up there from Merchant right into that upper body of Gridley, catch him off guard a little bit.
It's a delayed fist pump. 10 seconds after the point was over.
You always know it's coming.
The recovery.
Missed opportunity there for Navratil and Merchant. Navratil actually went for the, the high five with Merchant. He was turning around to go get his towel already.
Farias hits it too hard. He had the angle. His ball ends up going over the court. Had
Look at
plenty
that
of room.
recognition
Yeah.
from Navratil, though. That last split second pulls off, because so much of the time when you're going to defend an ATP, you essentially have to commit to whatever is happening.
Yeah.
It's so hard when you're that close and it happens so quickly to recognize at that last split millisecond that it's going long or it's not going to stay in.
Yeah, and it is all Navratil and Merchant here in game number 3 of 5-0. 1 point away from an end change here. We'll see if they can keep this momentum going after the timeout. Both Farias and Gridley over there on the sideline taking a seat,
15 seconds.
as much time as they possibly can.
Yeah, we talked about it's very hot here in Punta Gorda, Florida. Southwest Florida is where we're at. Mid 80s, probably feels warmer in the sun. A little bit of a breeze today, but again, these Florida tournaments are probably the most times that we see players dealing with cramping, heat-related issues. So it's that much more important to stay hydrated, stay cool when you can.
Side out.
That's nice.
Really, excuse me, get those electrolytes
Yeah.
going. 0-5-1.
Oh my goodness, what an exchange to finish off that extended rally.
0-5-2.
Merchant and Navratil continue to come out on top, though.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of come around from game 1 where they were struggling to get anything going.
Keep going. 5-0-1.
That's a good leave there from Farias as he just steps out of the way of that before Navratil even hit it.
Yeah, I think the wind-up was a little telling that it was probably going to sail a little long,
5-0-2.
which it did. Still looking to get that 6 point here, though. Trigger the end change. And another net cord from Farias. Oh, wow. Oh, goodness. I thought Navratil almost might have a chance at it. That ball is well behind Navratil. Farias off the court when he hits that. Nothing Navratil can do. Ooh, beautiful angle on that backhand from Navratil. Power plus angle equals ball in the stands.
0-5-2. Oh, great return. Side out.
Farias even says great return as he hits that third short.
Five, 0-1. Second serve. Keep shooting, Nelson. That's you.
That's a nice speed up here.
5-0-2.
Navratil not expecting it. Gridley getting just a little impatient right there.
Change of ends, 6-0-2, 1
Ball
minute.
goes long, and it is a 6-0 lead on the end change.
And again, Navratil and Merchant, you know, they've had side outs. Gridley and Farias have had opportunities here in this third game. They just haven't been able to convert on their serve into points. And Merchant and Navratil just, again, slow and steady, adding point by point by point. I mean, a lot of times, you know, we saw a couple matches yesterday went very quickly. The score, you know, it was like an 8-minute match. It went so quickly. This, not the case. Those 3 games.
15 seconds.
Bit of a grind here for both teams. Gridley and Farias definitely looking to gain a little momentum back themselves here on this end change.
6-0-2.
First step going to be getting that ball back and get on the board.
No. Point.
Just long, but again, it was the Gridley Ernie drop, like the a la Deco bar right there. Really not do much with it. And what it does right there is it puts you out of position. And so Merchant goes hard cross court and got Farias out of position. So great shot. Oh.
Yeah, Merchant is fully engaged right now.
City team, 8-0-2, 1 minute.
And Gridley and Farias feel it as well. They take a timeout as a result.
Althoff pointed right at you and I as soon as he did that.
I mean, he's putting on a show just for us.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's just, that's the difference, right? The difference maker from game 1 to game 2, right, was Farias and Gridley had slowed their momentum down, meaning they did not let Merchant and Navratil get fired up. They did not give them any opportunities like that. Well, that changed really quick in game number 2, and now it's continued into game number 3. Right, and we said it early on that that's how you slow Navratil and Merchant down. Take them out, take their momentum away. Do not let Althoff get like he is right now.
Serving team, you have 2 timeouts remaining. Time in, 8-0-2.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Great get by Navratil, but what a point all around.
Oh, I mean, only Navratil, I swear. The crowd applauses in appreciation. Oh, really hit that way too hard.
Farias stopped going, and Navratil almost brought it back so much that it hit him.
1-8-1.
Yeah, Navratil put a lot on that ATP, two-handed backhand ATP. Don't see that a lot.
Great resets from Joey. Missed opportunity. Farias did not get what he needed to on that ball.
Second serve.
Yeah, he's mad because that ball was going well long.
1-8-2.
They are on the board here, though, for the first time here in the third
Side
game.
out.
They're definitely going to need more than one if they want to head to the semis, though, so still a lot of work to do here. Oh, geez. I was like, they're going to hit each other.
Almost did.
What a point.
Oh, just misses it. That is the point of the day right there.
Oh, my gosh.
Watch the ground that Gridley's covering.
Gridley.
8-1-2.
Wow. Unbelievable rally. Again, that's what I said earlier. It's you have to commit to defending the ATP, and it's so hard to pull off. Navratil crushed that ball again. It might have caught that back corner, but Gridley committed to it.
Good leave there from Farias as he recognizes that Althoff Merchant forehand is going long.
1-9-1.
Really nice low cross-court dink there from Joey Farias.
Two 9-1.
Great hands from Navratil right there. Oh, and he goes off the tape back at Gridley. Gridley was there.
Tries to go down that line.
2-9-2.
Navratil all over it.
Side out.
Kidding me?
Gridley is definitely feeling the frustration of those net cords. And again, they're happening on both sides.
Oh,
Second serve.
Navratil got bodied up. Tried to get his body out of the way.
9-2-2.
And again, and Gridley just one of those things where you have to be able to let that go. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It's out of your control.
10-2-2.
You have to brush it off. Easier said than done, of course, but a match point here for Navratil and Merchant.
Side out.
So still some life here for Gridley and Farias, but if they're going to do anything, got to get these side outs down. You have to score. Can't leave anything on the table here. Right back in it.
Oh, a little collision there between Merchant and Navratil. Unfortunately, they're in the middle.
Good energy, buddy.
3-10-1.
Oh.
Point.
Oh no.
Navratil
No, I
came
think
down
he tweaked his knee a little.
Yeah, he came down a little funny on his knee, grabbed it.
Oh boy.
Navratil's going to take his timeout. Yep.
Oh, you hate to see that.
Timeout. Receiving team.
I went for that
4-10-1,
ATP
1
and
minute.
I
Well, you went to plant. It's his left leg. You went to plant and hit the
sounded
two-hander.
Like he skid a little. And then
Yeah.
just something kind of tweaked and he went down. Not super hard, but certainly enough. You can obviously tell. Not great.
Give you a little recap on the, let's check the women's side. Quarter for our semifinal number 1 is set. Vivian David and Lee Whitwell took out Bobby Oshiro and Megan Charity, 11-2, 11-8. And then Anna Bright and Georgia Johnson took down Maggie Remenzi and Michelle Esquivel, 11-4, 8-11, 11-6. And then Jarjim and Carr cruised against Sari Lee and Megan Hall,
Time in.
11-4, 11-3.
All right, back from this timeout. Let's see if Navratil looks
Looks to be
a
moving.
little hindered.
Looks to be moving perfectly fine.
Attention players, this is the
See if he's just a little gingerly
4-10-2.
moving on that leg.
Just a reminder that you will go directly to the court when you receive your court assignment for your text message.
Oh, Navratil goes off the post, off the boom mic. And it
Goes
is
for the
another
one-hander
point.
this time. I think honestly it's that knee. He didn't go for that nearly as aggressively as I think as he would have. Had he not just tweaked that knee on the previous one, he's definitely moving a little awkwardly on that for sure. Good look there from Merchant on the lob, and then the follow-up gets the side out. Gets him 2 more game points here. Excuse me, match points.
10-5-1. Point. Game
They get it done after a kind of really off, weird game 1. Navratil and Merchant find their groove in game 2 and keep it rolling into the semis. Austin Gridley and Joy Farias drop down into the consolation bracket where they will continue battling here today. We'll head to the Franklin studio. We'll certainly ask Navratil about that little tweak that happened, see what's going on with him. We'll be back with that semifinal matchup, though. Coming up next, we have Travis Rettenmeyer and Ryler DeHart taking on Kyle Yates and Deckel Bar. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.